Thank you, Jacinta, and thank you everyone for being here tonight. Imagine yourself having to give up your support network to move to a different community with a different way of life, possibly a different belief system, and maybe even a different language. Now, let's also imagine that you're a young person during this move and you're going through your formative years. Let's add one last wrinkle to this scenario. Let's also imagine that you didn't voluntarily move and you were forced to leave because of political or environmental upheaval. How many people here tonight would be comfortable being the person in that scenario? Not many hands. That scenario is a struggle that I can somewhat relate to. Whilst not from a refugee or asylum seeker background, I'm a first-generation migrant that moved from Zimbabwe at the age of 14. One of the hardest challenges for me was grappling with the changes in my environment whilst dealing with the changes of adolescence. That is why I volunteer with Australian Refugee Volunteers, or ARV. And that is why I'm here speaking with you today, to seek your assistance to support young people from refugee and asylum seeker backgrounds to build their confidence and to find their voices. Slightly over 50% of all humanitarian arrivals in this country are young people under the age of 18. How we integrate these people is not just important for the success of our humanitarian programs, it is also important for their development into adulthood. An Australian study of young people exposed to detention found that 62%, and I repeat, 62%, had a mental health concern. That includes PTSD, depression, and anxiety. Those outcomes are not just attributed to the detention itself, but also to numerous traumas encountered throughout the migration process. That is a confronting statistic, and unfortunately, it reflects the experiences of many of our clients. Many have had to deal with displacement and trauma whilst trying to find a place they belong. ARV is a 100% volunteer-run, not-for-profit based in Western Sydney. We provide social, educational, recreational, and developmental activities to young people from refugee and asylum seeker backgrounds. Examples of our activities include workshops, social outings, and sporting activities. Our main goal is to improve the quality of life of our young people by providing them with community and by easing isolation. At ARV, we are guided by our three core principles. First principle is enabling personal confidence. Second principle, enabling social connection. And third principle, enabling learning development. To continue to provide programs that mirror these core principles, we are seeking funding in FY26 to achieve three goals. First goal is to onboard and support more clients. Second goal is to diversify our program activities. And third goal is to lengthen our program days. The beneficiaries of our programs are not just our young clients, but also their families, as well as the wider Australian community. 72% of parents said that ARV had had a significant increase in their child's sense of belonging. Our two clients, Casey and Grace, represent this. They're two young sisters who first joined ARV a little over 5 years ago at the ages of 12 and 9. They quickly embraced the safe space that ARV provided and explored their interests, nurtured friendships, and improved their English. As a result, despite their caseworker originally noting significant trauma, anxiety, and PTSD, today Casey and Grace are incredibly confident and empathetic young women. 72% of parents also said that ARV had had a significant increase in helping their child develop life skills. Our young client Bella, our youngest client actually, is the perfect example. We recently had a fishing program, and many of our clients had never fished before, including her. Usually, Bella struggles to sit still and focus on slower activities, but on this day, her determination not only drove her patience, it helped her become the first client to catch a fish. And I'm sure you can see the pride in that smile. ARV is 100% grant funded. Without our volunteers and without funding, our program simply would not exist. If every person here tonight gave us $77, we'd be able to add to our program days. With $154, we'd be able to go a little bit further and split our existing streams to offer more diversified and more targeted activities. And if we have a very generous room, we'd be able to even go further and introduce a volunteer upskilling and recognition program to improve our volunteer retention. We welcome any support that you or your organizations can provide us. And before I introduce ARV's lovely Vice President, Ash Harrington, to join me on the stage for questions, I'd love to leave you with a question. A Vic Health study found that well-being in childhood is associated with a range of positive outcomes in adulthood. That includes higher academic achievement, higher economic security, and improved relationships. So I ask you tonight, how much are you willing to invest in our youth today to help secure a more empathetic and cohesive tomorrow? Thank you very much.